All right, I think I'll get started. It looks like people entering the meeting has slowed down. So welcome to today's presentation on AI tools for library workplace tasks. I'm Heather Caldwell from Ringwood Public Library. I'm joined today by my fellow AI ambassadors, Mary Martin from Wanacue and Shabri Henry from Patterson. So I thank them now for helping me today, being my assistants. So let's take a look at what we've put in the chat, how AI is in our everyday lives. We've got Alexa, Google, Siri, Facebook, Netflix and Amazon. Basically, Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, they all give you recommendations. That is AI doing that. Customized ads, Perplexity, paying bills and using Google Maps. Yep, for sure. Everything from simple autocomplete and voice recognition is AI to more complicated things like biometric identification, identification apps like Shazam, Seek, Google Lens. Those are all forms of AI. Our spam filters are AI. Uber is AI. Some of them are just simple AI performing human tasks. They point to preset databases, and then there's more complex AI that is machine learning, where it learns from itself. But in the end, AI is just a computer responding to those zeros and ones. So keep in mind, you're still the human part of the equation. So let's go ahead, and I have another task for you. Go ahead and read these two examples of a blurb that I wrote about today's pop-up and tell me which one was written by AI. When you've got your guess, go ahead and put it in the chat. All right, pretty much everyone says B, and yes, you are correct. I wrote the first one, put it into AI, and AI definitely improved upon what I wrote. Yes, it was an enhancement of what I wrote. So we'll get into, why would I put so much effort in? I could actually have put in less effort and probably gotten just as decent of a result. So I'll show you some of those tasks that we can do going forward. All right, when you use AI, you want to keep some things in mind. You do want to use AI to make your life easier, to make your tasks easier, but don't rely on it to do your job for you. You are still better at your job. You know your patrons, you know your books, you know what's in your own brain. So use AI as a tool, but don't rely on it because you're still better at what you do. Do use AI to brainstorm ideas. It's great to bounce ideas off of for programs. If you have to have a difficult conversation with someone, you can kind of do a mock-up of that with AI. So there's lots of ways you can use it as a tool. Never put your private information in or your proprietary information, anything that you don't want the world to know, don't put it in, especially in tools that use machine learning. Because they use all of that information that you put in to learn from itself. You don't want your stuff getting out there. Your birthday, your social security number, even images of yourself. If you don't want that out there, even in a changed format, don't put it out there. And finally, always check AI's output. Generative AI can make things up. So make sure that you are checking facts and you proofread. I did use AI to create a grant, to write a grant, and it was a little over the top. So I had to kind of go through and change the wording so that it came down to earth a little bit. And all these tools are now kind of putting disclaimers on their websites. So Copilot, this is what you see on their website. It says Copilot uses AI, check for mistakes. So if you put in, give me the top 10 list of, fiction books, you want to make sure that all those books on that list actually exist. So in the chat, do you already use AI at work? So go ahead and put that in, and I hope most of you are at least trying it, dabbling in it, because you don't want to be afraid to try to use these tools. So I see a few people saying that they do. Good, good. Awesome. Almost daily now. Yep. Occasionally. Okay. Great. All right. So if you're using it, that's good. But if you started to use it, you may find that it is overwhelming. There are so many tools out there. And as librarians, we know how to curate. And that's what you're going to need to do, is to find the tools that work for you. So these are some of the things that I think about when I'm evaluating a tool. If there are too many pop-up ads, I tend to stay away from a website. I don't want to accidentally click on something, go down a rabbit hole, get a virus, whatever. It's just too distracting to have that. Is there a paywall? Do you want to pay? You probably shouldn't have to pay. There's plenty of free tools out there. Does it count tokens or points against your use? In the beginning, I was creating images, and I would get an image, not like it, make another one, not like it, and then I was out of tokens. So it was kind of just a waste of my time to even try to use that tool. Do you have to create an account? Some of these tools, you do have to create an account, some you don't. Most of the time, it's just a matter of logging in with Google or creating an account with your email. I think Claude asked me for my phone number, and I was like, no. So that's totally up to you how you want to handle that. And then as you're evaluating, does the tool provide your desired results, and how hard do you have to work to get to those results? And that comes back to what Shabri talked about last week with prompt engineering. You may have to practice a bit to get the results that you want. So today I'm going to talk about quite a few tools, but I'm first going to talk about image generation. That's kind of where I started with using AI. I thought it would be great to be able to generate my own images, because it's always been an issue if we use clip art. Is it copyrighted? If we go find a great image online, but we have to, cite the source or to tell who the author is of an image. The AI is great because you can create copyright-free images and use them. If you're looking at me on the screen, my background right now was an AI generated image. And that was really simple. So if you want to customize your background for a Zoom meeting, AI is a great place to do that. So I'm going to go through some images that I've generated, and we'll talk about them a bit. So sometimes you can get wonky results with images that are generated, especially for people. Sometimes the facial features come out strange, limbs come out weird. In these two cases, you can see the girl's fingers on the left are a little warped. And then on the right, I think the guy has 3 legs and his foot is pointing in an unnatural direction. So I couldn't really use that image. The one with the girl with the book, I could crop easily and use that. But you can also notice on here, I don't think that title on the book is any known language. I probably could have gone back to it and said, put a title in English or something like that. But for my purposes, it didn't matter. But you can get some unexpected results. My next slide, I'm going to show you different images from different image generators. And this one, my prompt was that I wanted bunnies in library stacks. So in the first one, you can see Copilot generated, it actually put the librarian in there. I didn't ask for it. And you can see this full of, you can see that it put the librarian in, and that's part of AI's cultural bias. You can see, you know, obviously all librarians wear glasses and put their white hair up in a bun. So I wasn't really thrilled with that one. The second one, Google Image FX, we've got some really rather scary looking bunnies, like they're from some horror movie. And then Canva probably came the closest to what I expected, but in all of them, we are really overrun by bunnies. So for a very simple prompt, those are some very different results. The next one, very similar. I asked for oranges in stacks. So I liked the way most of them came out. The open art gen craft on the end, that one had it has keywords that you can use for stylistic. So this was steampunk. So I got steampunk oranges in the library, which I thought was interesting. But in all cases, these are some very monstrous oranges, some unnaturally large oranges that I don't think I've ever seen in real life. And sometimes the artwork, and this is one of my earliest ones, sometimes it's downright creepy. This one I asked for children reading books under a solar eclipse. So what I got were children of the corn with 10 moons in the sky. And also in here, you can see that the facial features are not well developed. So again, that is another downfall of image generation with AI. So yeah, that is a creepy one. All right, I am going to actually do a live demonstration of some of the tools that I use. This is a list of what I'll be showing you. I will be leaving the slideshow, but you'll have access to it later so that you can look at this list again. And I believe Mary's going to put in the chat as I go through each one, the link so that you can access those as we go. All right, so the first one I want to show you is, this is kind of a newly discovered one for me, Otter AI. It basically records meetings for you. So it creates a transcript and a summary. This is the dashboard. And I can go back and access all the conversations that I've had or recordings that I have. And I can click on one, and it gives you a summary of what the meeting was about and then a transcript. This particular one, I actually just used it to do a speech to text because I was sick of my terrible typing skills. So I was able to write out something just using my voice. But I'm going to show you, I can record this meeting. Now I have the free version. It only gives me 30 minutes of recording. But as it records, you can see that it is transcribing what I'm saying. It's not perfect, but you can go back in later and correct it. And then it learns from your corrections and it begins to learn your voice. And if you are frequently in meetings with other people, it will learn their voices too. I can also copy this URL and put it in the chat, and you should be able to follow that link to the transcription yourself. So that's a great tool if you're frequently in meetings. And there's also a tool called Otter Pilot where you can send Otter into a meeting and it will record a meeting for you. Okay, so that's one tool that I've just recently become familiar with. Another one I wanted to show you is Writer. if you go into Writer, you can basically have it write anything you want. So at the top, you can select your language and then the tone of voice you want to use. So if I want to write a thank you note, I can select appreciative. And then these are all the different things that you can write: an email, Facebook posts, job description. So if you're looking to fill a position, you can use this. So much song lyrics. So I just want to write a thank you note, and if I can find that. I don't know where it went. Yeah. Just write an email. Let's say thank you letter. Oops. Told you about my terrible typing skills. Letter to a speaker who lectured about the local reservoir. All right. And then you can click write for me, and it actually returns, you can ask for how many variants you want. You can have 1, 2, or 3, I think. You can have it be creative or not creative, more factual. So this gave me 2 choices. And the nice thing about this is that I can go right in and make edits. I can go in and change wording if I wanted to. And then this all gets saved. I can save the name of it. And then it's in here with all of my other creations. I can show you, I did use it for a potential job posting. You know, it just came up with all of this. All I put in was a job posting for library technical services, and it came up with all of that myself. Of course, I would go through and check it and change it according to my needs. So I thought Writer was a pretty good tool. I know both Mary and Shabri, I think, mentioned Perplexity. I do like Perplexity. It's conversational, and it's very much like it's powered by ChatGPT, but all it does is it goes out to the internet and looks things up, basically. So with Perplexity, one of the examples I was going to use is I can look up things like, give me a recipe that pairs with the book, the BFG. And voila, there's a recipe for frobscottle. What I like about Perplexity is that it gives you sources at the top where it found information. On the side, you can get some videos, images, and on the bottom, it gives you some related topics in case you want to explore further. But this is a great place if you're looking for program ideas. It's really, so it goes out to the internet, grabs the information, but then boils it down into exactly what you asked for, which is what I like. ChatGPT would probably give me approximately the same thing, but it wouldn't give me the resources. I couldn't click on one of these to go to that website. What else was I going to show you with Perplexity?
Could I jump in for a moment, Heather?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
What's interesting with Perplexity is that it does show you the sources that it used at the top of the search box, but as librarians or library staff, it might not have chosen sources that we think are the best to use. So
Yep.
That's interesting. Like for instance, when I gave it a local history question, it didn't even bother checking Wikipedia. It looked at real estate ads, and I don't know how it chooses which sources to use. So I
Yeah.
think it had the one that you did had uh some sort of recipe for a Mexican dish in the middle. I don't know how it chose that source. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why we have to check. We have to look at things and trust it as far as we can throw it. And since it's not a tangible thing, we really can't throw it far. Another example with perplexity I was going to show you was let's see. Give me 10 famous Charles Dickens quotes. All right, so if you're looking for quotes on books, perhaps you're doing some kind of promotional thing, this is an easy way to find it. And again, all the sources are listed, and you can click on them right there. And then finally, I wanted to compare Perplexity and ChatGPT. And I can't type for my life, but AI is really forgiving that way. So who won the 2024 Kentucky Derby? All right, so it obviously figured out my spelling error and it tells me who won. If I ask ChatGPT this, it's not going to know the answer. Oh, darn it, proved me wrong. It
I
does
think
know
this
the
must
answer.
be a new feature because before it was only limited to what it knew, but
Yeah.
since they just rolled out an
Yep.
upgrade to that's
Yeah.
cool.
So ChatGPT is usually trained only up to a certain point, but now it's got some recent information. But again, Perplexity gives me more. Well, actually, I see. Oh, look at that. They
So
have
I
some
think
links in here.
this new iteration of ChatGPT, I saw it say searching the internet. So I think it is being able to act like an AI agent like Perplexity does.
Yep.
But
Yep. So
last
this is
week it
how
didn't.
fast it's changing.
Yeah.
It's changed in the last couple days. All right. I did want to show you how I use ChatGPT to write a grant. And you can see if you have a membership to ChatGPT, it will save all of your conversations over on the left here. My grant was quite a while ago, so I got to go back. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this is the process that I went through to write my grant. Get all the way back. All right. Basically, I told it, here's a call for grant proposals. Tell me what details you need to write a proposal to match the criteria. And basically, I went out to the website where the grant, the call for grants was. I copied everything on the website and pasted it right into here. And you can see that all is here. And then ChatGPT took all that information and boiled it down to these bullet points for me. And it responded, to write a proposal that matches the criteria for this grant, you will need to include the following details and address the specific requirements. And so it boiled it down to me, for me. And then I responded, here are my notes regarding the grant proposal. Please write a 2-page proposal based on these notes. So this is where I'm still important here. I had to come up with the idea for my grant, for my project, and I basically created an outline, and I copied and pasted the outline and put it right into here. And then ChatGPT responded with a template for me. It gave me the introduction, a program overview, program activities and tools, target audience, continuing impact, conclusion. At the end, I realized I needed a section about program assessment, so I asked it to add a section for that, and it added a couple of paragraphs for program assessment. It ended up being too long. I had to go in and edit a lot, but it made my job that much more easy, a lot quicker. And that was the process. Aside from me thinking about what I wanted to do with this project and putting it in an outline form, and then doing some edits to what ChatGPT gave me, I didn't do much for this grant. So that's a great tool to have on hand. All right, so let's get into some of the image generators. Let's see. All right. One of the ones that I've been using is AI Test Kitchen. They've got a video generator, an image generator, a music generator, which is great. If you create short videos, you can create your own music. It has a text generator. I really haven't played around with much on here except for the music and the image generators. And I just really want to get into the images for you. So I'm going to launch that. All right, and it gives you a box on the left to explain what kind of image you want. And let's see, I'm going to say relaxing feet on a Caribbean beach. And then there on the bottom, you have kind of stylistic adjectives. You can make it look handmade, cool tones, photography, sci-fi. Let's go with sci-fi. I haven't done that one yet. And create. This one is going to give me 4 options. Sometimes it only gives me 3. All right. Oh, sci-fi gives me a UFO with the feet on the. All right, that's kind of fun. All right, so you can go in and play around with this, and it can be fun, but it also means that you can create any kind of image you want without having to give credit to anybody else. It's yours. Another great resource is Canva, and Canva, everyone in library world should be using Canva Pro because it is free for us and it has some really great tools. So I definitely encourage you to use Canva. So let's start with the magic media in Canva. Basically, it's the same thing. It gives you a little box to describe what you want, and I'll say relaxing feet on a beach. And you can do different styles. I'm going to pick dreamy, and you generate the image. And again, it gives you about 4 choices. And this is where you get wonky results. So I have disembodied feet. So AI test generator connected the feet to an unseen person. This one just gives me freaky feet. But this is great because if you are creating your flyers, you can create the artwork right here. Another thing I wanted to show you in Canva was just photo editing. All right, so we've got a lovely picture of me. Let's see. And I want to edit the image. So from here, if I want, I can remove the background or do BG remover. It takes out all the background. Let's say I want to take out my flyaway hair. I can use the magic eraser and kind of go over that spot that I don't want anymore. My hand's not so steady. Okay, let's erase that. All right, that flyaway hair is gone. Let's see. Let's say I want to add, I can do a magic edit and I can describe what I want after I select an area. All right, I'm going to say make the hair pink. And then it gives me some choices and I'll just select one, say done. And there's my new lovely photograph. This is fun. We have a poster maker, so I've done this with kids who can who've made posters of themselves, which is kind of cool. Let's see.
Heather?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Justine. I'm trying to kind of play along with Canva as you're talking. What version of Canva do you have? Because I'm not sure that it seems
It's
to be
Canva
available.
Pro. The Magic Media is like I think you have to, I can't remember how I got to it, but once you find it, it kind of plugs it in. I would have to go back and look to see how I found it. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, because I kind of see something on top that says Magic Switch, but it looks like it might be something you need to pay. Do you pay for your Canva or?
No, but libraries should be paying for Canva.
No, so we don't either. Yeah, but okay, I'll have to play
Yeah.
around, I guess, and
Yeah,
figure out.
there is a like the old version and then the more AI enhanced version, and you do have to find. I cannot recall how I got there, but I'll go back and look and see if I can find an answer for you.
Heather,
So
would it
if
be?
you,
Oh, sorry, Shabri.
oh, I'm sorry. If you go to apps and just search Magic Media, it's gonna come up. And then once you use it, it goes to the left side
Right,
toolbar
that
with
you
all
find it over
of your
here.
other apps.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Shapri. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna actually undo what I just did. Go back to my original picture. You can see this picture is a little blurry. What I'd like to do then instead is to upscale my image. I can click that and get rid of the blurriness. Okay, and then you can kind of see here, you can play around with it, see the blurry, the not blurry. So if I replace it, I'll end up with a better version of the picture that I had taken. So that's a good tool if you're actually using photographs. Another discovery with Canva, it's great for transcribing. So if you have a picture of a article from a newspaper and you want to transcribe it, you can come in here, edit the image, and grab the text. You can see it's broken it up into a few different sections, but if I grab this and select that, And then if I move that, you can see that it's actually become a text box. I can go in there and I can copy it. I can copy it into a Word document. I can reformat it. Actually, when I'm going to do that. Copy and let's see. Word. So you can see the formatting gets a little wonky because it's the lines from the article, but I can also see that there's a spelling error in here. They spelled gratifying wrong. I can correct that. So this is great for librarians into archival, doing archives. So transcription is a good tool from Canva. Let's see. I think those were the tools I was going to show you. So let me go back to my slideshow. All right, so those are the tools I showed you. Here's some other tools that I've kind of looked at and think might be worthwhile trying, but I really haven't gotten into. But if you'd like to add to the chat some tools that you've used that you think other people might be interested in, please go ahead and do that now. And while we're looking that through, let me know if there's any questions. Any questions at all? I'll take them.
Okay, I have one, Heather. I think you have a free ChatGPT account, correct?
Yeah, I use ChatGPT 3.5. Yep.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but Heather has an account with ChatGPT and it saves her previous searches, even though she doesn't have a paid account. So that's what's really cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can.
I don't pay for any of the tools that I use, but you do have to create an account for a lot of them. But something like Perplexity you can use without an account. You might just not be able to get, like, I think there's an image generator on there. You can't use the image generator.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Those of you who learned something today, can you think of a way back at the office that you could use one or more of the tools that Heather talked about today? Because I certainly can. Okay, it's Monday.
Well, I think the image generator, for me, it's just key because I don't like trying to figure out, do I have to credit someone for this image that I'm using and that is going to be on my website for 2 weeks and then it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
For me to be able to create something quickly and it's not too disturbing, that's key.
I'm going to say one of the things that I learned about image generators is if you like even part of an image, you should probably save it right away because it's never going to give you the same image twice.
Correct. Yep. As soon as I get one that I kind of like, I download it. I can always use it later. That's kind of an idea that I have here is that I would like to create a library of images, have someone just spend some time so that, we have something for just in the stock, like for story time or, my upcoming tech programs or whatever, just have something that I don't have to worry about copyright issues. And yeah, I think the transcription tool, the grab text tool on Canva is great for transcription as well.
I take a lot of blurry flower photos, so I'm going to look at the.
Yep. There are other tools online for improving resolution. If you just type in image resolution enhancer or whatever, you should find one. But since we should all be using Canva Pro for free, it's there. Good. I'm glad I see people, playing with the image generator. Yeah, just play with it, have fun with it. It is kind of fun.
So since oh, cool, Rob. Yeah, Robin used Writer to generate copy for a flyer. And Heather, I really enjoyed seeing how you used ChatGPT to write a grant.
Yeah. Again, it was way easier than I thought. It just felt a little bit like cheating, but anything you make with AI is yours. It's not, it's just a tool.
The something that I have heard people write about, you know how when you're like Robin said, you having a brain dead day and all you can think of is the details of the program and you can't even begin to think how you could creatively write a sentence or two about it. That's what that's what AI is really good for. You tell it the boring details and you tell it to snazz it up.
Yep.
And then if it snazzes too much, you say, take it down a notch. And you can literally say that, I bet,
Yeah.
and it will. So
It comes back down to what Shabri taught us last week with prompt engineering, just learning how to get it to do what you want, learning how to give it the right prompts.
and then also realizing that it can't give us everything that we want because there is so much important information that is not digitized. So we need to remember that AI is just as likely to be wrong as a human being because all of its data it got from human beings. And so I don't know how many of you were around when the internet took off and they were all like, oh, we're not going to need librarians because everything is going to be available on the internet. No, and they need us now again. So we can say, yeah, that sounds like it might be right, but look at the sources it's pulling from. Or I know for a fact I can find a piece of paper that tells you that's not correct.
Yep.
But for this, the things that it's really fun to try it out and go, oh my gosh, it can do that. So if you can just think about the next time you're doing a task that you kind of dread, is there a way to try AI to see if it could do it for you? And so we've hopefully given you some confidence to play around. And as you can see, it changes so fast. All of a sudden now ChatGPT can act as an agent and go out on the internet. So just keep playing around with it. Have fun.
Yeah. Just like anything, trial and error. Any last questions, or does anyone want to share a tool that they really like that I didn't mention?
If you have any ideas for other workshops that you'd be interested in, just put your ideas on the evaluation form. I put a link to it in the chat. LLNJ would really like you to fill it out. So we would appreciate it if you would do that. And if you didn't do it for Shabri's, I'll resend the link to all of the people who attended Shabri's as well. All right, well, go forth on Monday, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.